Just a quick one. There's a challenge to all UK, but mainly Scottish YouTube creators, especially local ones. That's to let you know that I'm speaking. To all of these cranks in Scotland with YouTube channels, I know you've heard of this. I know you've heard of the abuse my children are suffering. It doesn't make sense that you wouldn't want to cover a story where a father's telling you about child abduction with a court case that's been proven, with Police Scotland involved in child abduction and child abuse, with the Scottish Government implicated in child abuse. Now, you already know that. But I say the reason that you, YouTube creators, minions, you avoid the truth. You avoid helping out children. A lot of your content may include some wacky research by crazy people. All of it's Jesuit controlled, all of it's Freemasonically controlled. Something we don't speak about a lot in Scotland. Freemasons, the Eastern Star that run everything, the Catholic cult that owns a lot of this. They own the Scottish YouTube creators. Well, they own their mouths anyway. Probably own their minds, because they don't have a heart. If any YouTube creator, especially Scottish one that's local, have anything to do with any type of family safety, child safety, safety in any way, you know that these YouTube creators that speak about similar subjects, child abuse, prefer to go off in tangents. They prefer to speak about anything that's going to distract you from hearing what the police and the services and the government and your councils are involved in. Because they're controlled, just controlled. It's just like your TV. I'm saying anyone with a YouTube channel that has over your few thousand subscribers, and you're going out your way to ignore what I'm telling you, you're part of the problem. You know what? You know who I'm speaking to. You know, I mean, any man or woman in Scotland with a YouTube channel that's heard these stories, because I do know that every attack that I'm getting, and I'm getting attacks daily, I get attacked daily for speaking about the safety of children. I get attacked for speaking about child safety. I get attacked for asking you to stop child sexual abuse. And you ignore the story. I don't need you to like. I don't need you to subscribe. These cranks do. These liars do. These people that feed the narrative given to by the services to distract you from the real story, the real child abuse story. Scottish cranks set themselves up to look as if they show you the vigilantes who care about children. You may as well have CNN write your stories. You are avoiding court-documented evidence to show that our police are corrupt, that they take part in child abduction, that they are actively abusing our children, and the government, the Scottish Government, is part of this in feeding and funding the network of child abuse. But you've got lots of other things to talk about for children's safety. Well, this young baby and this young couple, the mad young couple, the cool young couple are doing this. You're a crank. You're a sellout. You're a sellout. If you're Scottish and you have any type of way to get a message out, You're controlled. This is controlled. It's not controlled by me. This is controlled, but it's not controlled by me. If it was controlled by me, there would be 1,500 people or something watching this right now. And that's just the people that are subscribed. Instead, there's 2, 3. There's a like going on, then been taken off. As if I care. This is how paedophile networks work. This is how satanic child abusing networks work. This is how they operate. They have people on here at the smallest level protecting those who abuse children. And I'm telling you, YouTube channels in Scotland, all of them, similar size to my own and bigger that get audiences, all of them are controlled. Every single one of them. Every single one. I wouldn't trust a word that pulled out these freaks and paid for mouths. They're minions. They're minions. You've no interest in the safety of children. You've no interest in stopping the abuse. You've no interest in the social services being involved in abduction. You've got no interest in the truth. You want to serve up crappy stories to keep people interested in your rubbish. And that's what you've got. You sell rubbish. No, there's nothing honest about it. There's nothing honest about what you're doing. There's nothing honest about you now. Now this is there's at least 10 within a local kind of 10-mile radius from here that pretend to care about child safety, that go all out. They go all out to use the service's crappy stories to make sure that you're distracted from the real story, that our government is involved in paedophilia, funding child abuse, funding charities that abuse children, funding the Scottish government. The funding from the Scottish government goes to those charities that rape and abuse kids. Police Scotland don't listen to what a judge would pass down from Edinburgh High Court. They would listen to the charity that's funded by the Scottish government, and these Tillotoo Army, they'll abuse the children with the abuser. They'll assist the abductor with the Scottish government's money given to these charities who abuse. And now, your YouTube channel, your local YouTube channel, with a nice wee man or a nice wee woman that's going to tell you the truth about child safety, is a crank, is a liar. They know they're liars. You want to stick a wee like on there? No, you don't, do you? It doesn't matter how many is there. Because you're protecting the wrongins, which means you're a wrongin. I've been attacked in every possible way. From my crappy dulcet tones, the way I talk, the way I look, my grey hair, the way I dress, the way I might sound sometimes polite and then sometimes not so polite. Every single thing I'm personally attacked. But I can show you with court-documented evidence that I'm not a rapist. I can show you with court-documented evidence that I don't abuse or hurt children. And I can show you with court-documented evidence that Police Scotland and the Scottish Government fund and assist in child abuse. All documented evidence, not one crappy information from the services keeping you distracted so you don't hear the story about real abuse funded by our government, assisted by our police. And that's what these cranks do. That's what these little storytellers, Jack and Ories, that's what they do. You cranks, you liars, you sell out, you little pigs. That's the news for today. Let me start a new segment to show you how convenient it is for these cranks to make money off social media by keeping you distracted and keeping children abused. Why would these social media cranks who make money off YouTube want to keep you distracted from knowing about children that have been abused? They don't speak a lot about Freemasonry, they don't speak a lot about the Eastern Star control mechanisms, they don't speak a lot about the Jesuit trained. They don't speak a lot about the Knights, they don't speak a lot about much which happens in every single town in this country. They speak about it as if it's a conspiracy still, and they can walk you straight into the buildings they're controlled by. They speak not about them, they speak not about the abused kids. And my audiences, they do not grow. But your crappy stories with crazy men and women trying to protect kids that don't exist in closes being raped off people from overseas. No, it's happening within our security services. It's happening within our YouTube channels. That we're protecting cranks who abuse kids. I'm calling every one of you Scottish YouTubers out. You are avoiding the truth. Every single one of you on YouTube, and your TikTok, and your Facebooks, and your nonsense things, because I'm not on anything else. I come on this. I make a fool of myself on this, like you make a fool of yourself. Was it just you and me watching each other now? Because there's only one person here. There's only one person here. And you know, the amount of chat that we give to show that you are a crank, a liar, and an ignorant pig towards child abuse. Ignorant pigs. You sold out, and you sell out everyone that comes to watch. And the only reason you've got an audience is because the cranks send the idiots in. The cranks send the minions into you with your wee crappy stories, your wee crappy storylines. This vigilante and he's vigilant. What Americanised story version of Scotland do we have now? Sounds like the services have wrote your story. Doesn't sound as if it's coming out your mouth. Doesn't even sound like you. Ex-military, ex-police, con men who abuse, How many YouTube channels do we have in Scotland? Ignoring the truth. You talk about child abuse, don't you? Your crank stories. That rubbish. And this, who's on now? It went from 1 to 9. Why is it not thousands? Why is it not thousands? Cranks. Because only the local police services can get on here, and the little cranks that protect the paedophiles can get on here. I'm addressing the absolute parasites in Scotland. You have your YouTube channel funded and controlled because you're funded and controlled. Your mouth is funded and controlled. Your mind is funded and controlled, and children are funded and abused because you parasites, ignoring real stories. You're sending real fathers to graves early. You are YouTubers. They're just tubes. And the Scottish version of tubes, you absolute, utter tubes. You sell out little piglets. What stories do you have now? Because this one is about protecting children, protecting parents, protecting the family unit, which yours about. Breaking down Scotland, lying and kids getting raped of people that come out of this country. Yeah, of course that happens. But we're hiding the fact that the Scottish Government and Scottish Police are part of this. And it's called documented. Why aren't you contacting me? You could have contacted me years ago. I tell you why. I tell you why Control Network. I'll tell you why Jesuit trained liars. I'll tell you why a little Freemasonic Catholic cult member. I'll tell you why. What, I don't need to say anymore. It's already out. Every single one of you. Scottish brings shame upon Scotland. You bring shame upon Scotland. Oh, it's Scottish. You're not Scottish. You abuse kids. You've got a platform and you use the paedophiles' stories. You don't use a father's story. You don't use the truth. You don't use honesty. And you don't have your own opinion because your opinion's bought and paid for, isn't it? Sellouts. Your opinion's been bought. You might only get 20,000, 30,000. I was getting that last year. And the thing is, I don't want money from these paedophile protectors. I don't want money from them. But I know you do. I know that's why children aren't safe. I know that's why when I look at any of these Scottish YouTubers, I can hear the story behind their story because they're not telling it. That's not their story. If they knew their story, they would know their story inside out, but they don't know their story. They're taking any crank nonsense story which keeps you distracted and keeps children abused in this country, in Poland, in Europe, in this country. My kids were abducted from this country. They were abused by the system in this country, by the funded charity in this country. And you want to take it out on me personally. I want to protect children. I want to protect you if you're a father. There's 20 people now, 20 people. If you're a father or mother, I want you to have time with your child. I don't want your children to be abducted and raped and taken across to a different country by Police Scotland after the court case has been settled for me to get the passport for my daughter back. No, that doesn't happen. Police Scotland assist in child abuse. They assisted. So they make it easy for you to sell wee crappy stories, to continue the abuse, to continue the assault on children that are abducted and abused. What do? You sell out. What do you get? A couple of grand a month? A couple of grand a month for the abuse of children? I hope that sits well. Eternally, I hope that sits well for you. Because I know, and you know, your wee crispy face, your wee dried up sphincter face, sold out years ago. Nothing decent about you that pours out your mouth. You should think for yourself once. But again, that's asking way too much for somebody that's been bought off for years, a liar. We can always tell when a story is someone's personal story. We can always tell when a crank's a crank. But now it gets so bad. Because this story's been about for years. Not one. I've approached every big company. I've approached every big network. You would have expected local, small producers of news to find this newsworthy. Because if I'm a crank, if I'm a liar, believe me, if I'm talking about Police Scotland taking part in child abuse and child abduction that's not real, they'll be here in a split second. But they know it's court documented. They know that the DAIU in Edinburgh assisted in child abuse. They know that. They know the Domestic Abuse Investigation Unit, who's in the pocket of the charities. They know. And that's why you spread shite. Spread. Smells like you eat it. You should be helping real fathers, real parents and real children in this country and not spreading nonsense stories created by the police, by the government and by the services that own you. You hate me personally because you hate what I say is real. What I'm saying comes with authority, and that's something you'll never have. What I'm saying comes from authority, and you are not that. And those who pay you, that's not authority. That's predators. Predatorial scumbags buy your voice, buy your mind, and buy your little channel. That makes sense, doesn't it? Scottish child abuse, the system, the sellouts, the cranks on YouTube, their crappy stories, the lies spread by the security services that own your police, government and council. Paedophiles are being released into our streets and they're working in all of our local businesses. Real fathers and mothers, they've been taking out the lives of their children, while these cranks on YouTube keep you distracted and looking at some other story. If you're going to see a story about some other wee woman that's going to all out to protect children, or some other wee man that's going all out to protect children, or some wee couple that's going all out to protect children, and this has been ignored, they've been bought and paid for. Matthew, Ava, Daddy loves you. I do know I'm a complete failure. I failed because I trusted and loved people. Because I offered forgiveness to people. And I do feel a lot of anger and hate. It disgusts me how I feel at times. It breaks me to pieces. But I'm finding that the best thing to be happening just now is that we tell our own truth. And when I'm listening to the Scottish YouTubers, there's no truth involved. You know that. You've sold out. Every single last one of you YouTubers, content creators, who gave you your content? back out, so I'm going back out. It's not up to me to convince you. You're watching bought and paid for liars. Bought and paid for liars, willing to abuse. They'll attack you personally in every way and never help any child. They'll tell you stories about others trying to protect children while they abuse, while they distract, and while they allow children to continue to suffer in silence. Because they steal the voice of children the same as any little violent feminist playing the victim while she's abusive. That's it. The feminist plays the victim as she abuses. Like these little parasites that have been bought. They play the victim. Keep attacking me personally all you like. It just shows exactly what you are. You crank, liars, thieves, child abusers, parasites, predators, thieves. And you know what? One thing I've learned, every little last piece of disgusting evil in you, it's in me. And I hope I never act on it. And everything that's in me which you do not like, or you might like, it's in you too. These cranks and sellouts, they have to listen, because I know that they are damned. They are damned, and not for 5 minutes, not 10 or 15, they're damned forever. Fathers, mothers and children deserve to have a safe space and safe family unit. And right now Scotland's breaking it down. Please, Scotland's breaking it down. There's evidence to prove every single thing that I'm saying. These guys, they don't have a single second of personal legitimacy to anything they're doing or saying. But they'll get you coming back time after time because they're not shadow banned. They don't have 9 people watching. They don't have 9 people. That's not even 1% of people subscribed. Do you know why? Because no one gets the message. They get the message that the abusers and the paedophiles want to send it, the feminists, the liars. But they don't get any message from any real mother protecting children. They don't get a message from any real father protecting children. Because our paedophile network is vast. It's vast. And these crank sellouts, they will face their day very soon, because every attack is on these personal. And every attack they're going to receive, it's eternal. Matthew, Ava, Daddy loves you. I miss you every single second, every single day. I'm sorry I failed you.